nothing.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
What was that? Are you okay?
Let's begin now. Do you remember those
Nope.
those books on tape?
No.
I still call like audiobooks. I think that's what everyone calls them now. Books on tape.
I never listened to books on
You
tape.
didn't? Like Berenstain Bears
know.
and that was pretty much all I think I listened to. But then the stories, they would give the little intro, from the narrator, and then they'd go, okay, let's begin now. And then like anytime you'd have to turn the page, there'd be like a little chime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking
Is your mic on?
about.
Did you check? I didn't even do a mic check. I should do that right now. Hold on. Let's see.
Mic check. Mic.
No, one of our mics, your mic is not on.
Michael
There it is.
check.
There it is.
Mic check. Mic. Mike, are you there?
Oh, good morning, folks.
So anyway, now that we've moved past that whole books on tape thing,
Well, I'll never move past that.
I think we did have one when I was a kid, and it was for the video game Asteroids, and I think I asked my grandpa to buy it for me because I thought I was asking him to buy me the game.
Oh, but it was a book on tape.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed?
No, because it ended up being really cool.
Ah, well, that's a win-win for everybody, huh?
Yeah. I'm sure I was disappointed at first. I was walking around the Air Force Base BX with him, which is like the grocery. And I was like, look at this. And he was like, oh, you like that? Oh.
Is that the accurate depiction of his voice?
It's fairly close.
Because I notice we do this when it's like my mother's voice is like, wow, Helena Therese. My mother's a really nice person. She does not talk like that.
She just sounds like that.
In my head. Or it's, Helena Therese. Like when I do something that she's not pleased with.
No, that's pretty accurate representation of his voice.
Grandpa. See, yours in my head is like, oh, do.
No, my grandpa never did that.
No,
ever.
this is your voice in my head.
I do that a lot. Like usually during introductions. Hi, I'm Paul.
You said doo-doo.
No, you did.
Do. Anyways, all right. So today we're talking about humility, humbleness.
Oh, the humility.
In our understanding. I've been learning a lot about humility lately.
Have you?
Yeah, you want to hear about it?
I guess.
I don't know. I see that I was not a very humble person for most of my life. And especially like when I hit my upper teens and was deep into my depression and my dark ages, and then going into college when I had all this freedom, I just felt like I knew everything,
Yeah, it's like you don't understand.
Well, yeah, nobody understands me, right? I was there until probably 7 years ago when I was like, whoa, I want to help people,
Yeah, that's an accurate representation of I just want to help people. Hi, I'm Aaliyah. I just want to help people.
I'm not a Muppet. Although I wish I was, because Muppets are delightful. Anyways, so there I was. No, but that may be what a lot of people during that time period fall into is we think we have the answers because for me, looking at my parents, I was like, well, they didn't know shit about anything. I clearly have a better understanding of myself and the world, so I'm just going to go with that. And it worked for a little while, but then I became an alcoholic, and I think that was me taking control of my life, but not in a way that was actually like
productive.
Yeah. So becoming sober was probably the first like big act of humility to realize that I am not in control of my energy and my emotions, and that I need help to return to balance.
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 Like the Pan Asian grilly?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. Like harmony. Like
It
balance and
doesn't take a
harmony.
lot to get me to return to balance. The Pan Asian grilly.
It's pretty great. It's not a grilly.
It's grilly. If you put an E at the end of grill, it becomes grill-y. Anyways. No, but there's a lot of applications to humbleness and humility. And I think that something we don't realize is, like, oftentimes we'll hear the phrase like, oh, everybody's going through something and you don't know what it is. Maybe that's true or not, but the humbleness in that is that we don't know anything beyond what we see, hear, smell, and taste, or feel. So when we are encountering people in our day-to-day lives, it's best to just be within yourself and practice humility, or just be humble in the situation, because you don't have all the answers for them, even if you've been through exactly the same scenario that they're going through. Each person is different, and it doesn't matter if it's literally the exact same scenario. Like, you both got cut by a piece of paper at the same time. Each of you is going to deal with it in a different way. So sometimes when we seek out help, it's hard to not try and teach people, but it's also better to just not look at it that way, to look at it as representations of guidance on like the most basic levels. That's why we talk so much about energy here, is because energy is the root of everything, and how your energy moves through you is going to be different, but you can understand the energy and then understand how you find your solutions through that.
What initially prompted this discussion was our previous discussion of self-righteousness. And I had asked you in a cheeky way, I think, of, well, how do we talk about self-righteousness without sounding self-righteous?
Just listen to me.
Yeah. Anyways, what I observe is that there's this eagerness when we have accomplished something, when we've experienced something, when we've gained understanding about something, there can be this desire to share that knowledge with others. And I see where a way we can get lost in that is in thinking that, just as you said, we experience things differently. We can get lost in thinking that other people need our advice or need to move through their situation in the way that we navigated it. And what I hear a lot, and it irks me a little bit in my heart, is when people say, oh, what you need to do is, and that completely negates the empowerment of the other person to tune into what they need in that moment. Perhaps it is the same solution, or the same way, and perhaps it's not. I find it disconnecting to assume that we have the answers for somebody else, which is why when somebody asks me for help, for answers, I ask them questions so they can get into the solution themselves.
Yeah. I mean, we all have an eagerness to help. Well, not all of us, but
Not that good.
at least here we have an eagerness to help people, and that is sometimes not serving in helping them.
Yeah.
There's also the part of that is egotistical too, because we want to be the ones to come up with a solution for them. Mm-hmm. And just asking them questions leads them down a path where they find the solution themselves. And even if it's the exact same thing you would have told them in that moment, you're like, oh, they came to it on their own, so I was no help. Well, that's a little absurd to feel that way. Mm-hmm. Because you got them to the point. It's that's all that matters.
Well, and the reaction is something for us to dig into. If we have an emotional reaction, if we're being honest with ourselves and feeling a bit bummed that somebody chose a different path than what we advised them on, then what is going on within us that, one, makes us eager to share information, and two, what is within us that feels insecure or less than, that it wasn't our idea that somebody chose. I think it comes, for me, it comes down to value. I want to be valued in this society. I want, and that, even going deeper, it's safety. And, inclusion is safety for me, because that means I have a community that is going to keep me safe and going to help feed me and clothe me and all of those things.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah. Well, how do you look at it?
No, just
my way is the only way.
I
There's
know.
no
Self-righteous
other way.
Son of a.
I see this a lot too with like religious practices, any kind of spiritual practices, or with diet. Because I talk a lot with like wellness, diet and all of that with people, and the oh, you need to try this diet. Oh, you need to chant this, or that there's specific things that we
Put some coconut oil on it.
Put some coconut oil on. No, everybody needs to do that unless you have an allergy. See? Like, there you go. Like, maybe not everybody needs coconut oil in their life, Helena.
Gotcha.
But, and also there can be a cost to aggressively, I'll say, advising somebody or putting our path and what works for us on another person, because they may not resonate with what we have to say, and that's that disconnect of, well, this person is clearly trying to advise me and I didn't ask for that, or they don't understand or aren't taking the time to understand my full situation to know that what they're telling me, sometimes it can be like really dangerous advice that I hear, like, especially when it comes to diet or supplements or anything like that.
Well, also, I just totally lost my train of thought there because I got caught up on that last part. What were you saying right before you talked about the dangerousness?
I don't know at what point you're
Advising.
but yeah, advising and pushing information that resonates with us onto other people, and they may not listen to us because
that was leading me in a path of thought about how many people come to us thinking that we're going to do that and wanting us to do that.
Wanting us to advise them and tell them what to do.
Tell them exactly what to do.
Right.
And that's a very different issue to deal with in that circumstance, because now you first have to deal with this need that they have to not solve their own problems, or not even attempt to. Sometimes it's hard to solve your own problems. I get that. But bringing them to an awareness of the fact that they can come up with the solution on their own has to be taken on first before you can even address the initial issue.
Right. And we emphasize connecting with intuition here. And if, you and I teach meditation to a lot of our students, because in those meditations is when we can connect with the answers that we're seeking, and tuning into the body awareness, or tuning into our heart space to see what changes we need to make in our life. I'm finding that the more we work with people in a setting that is allowing them to tune into these messages themselves, the amount of growth that we witness within them is so rapid, because then it's not like they're relying on a chiropractor to fix their back every time it goes out. They know how to do the work on their own. So not only like here, it's like we come together as a booster, to help us all understand what the heck is happening. But then at home, they continue the work, and they listen to their guides, and they meditate, and they pray, and they do their practice, and are growing outside of this space as well. So there's a lack of dependency on any one of us.
Right.
Which I think could be an egotistical blow if somebody we want to be dependent on, because that we're needed, we're valued, and that keeps people around.
For the most part.
It can keep people around.
Sometimes it scares them.
Yeah, sure. If we're clinging.
I need to help you.
Come on.
Listen to what I'm saying. Yeah, that happens never here. I'm sure it probably has.
Do it.
Yeah, well, I do say that a lot. You just do it.
Just do it.
What's the holdup?
Just shut up and breathe.
You got this issue. Just solve it.
Just stop being depressed.
Done.
I've had people tell me that in my life. Just stop it. Just stop being depressed. Oh, okay, if it was that easy.
I want to point out, too, with the self-sufficiency part of it, is that's why I always say that everyone should learn Reiki 1. Everybody should take that class and be attuned, because the more you're able to heal yourself, the better off you're going to be. Mm-hmm. You're not seeking out at all moments when you realize that it's all inside of you already.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing about Reiki that says you're helping somebody else. It's right. All about, even when working with others, it is for our own individual benefit, because we are learning unity. We are learning that this person that we're working on is actually us. And so there is no room for self-righteousness or hierarchy, because we are entered into union. There's an equality.
Yeah, I mean, there. A lot of times the clients that book sessions have certain things going on. They're a reflection of exactly what's going on inside of us. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that, but that's where it becomes hard. It's like, well, this is how I deal with that.
Right.
And that's why you step outside of that whole space and just form as one being energetically.
It allows for curiosity, I think, because talking about perspective, if we have a certain perspective about healing relationship with parents, and somebody has a similar situation than us, if we are listening, we can see from different angles what we've gone through. And that's where I've felt a benefit with working from others, because as I listen to their story and how they describe their emotions and I ask them questions to get them to dig into the energy themselves, I get to learn more about my own situation. And if I am thinking that I've already solved this problem and healed this part of myself, then I'm not paying attention
Right.
to the deeper message that is being delivered to me.
And that's what the self-righteousness is. That's what the antithesis of what we're talking about is when we don't realize, like, no matter how much we think we've accomplished, and not even think, no matter how much we've accomplished, there is always space for growth. And even in moments where it seems like we have the answer to this puzzle, we don't have all the pieces to the puzzle. And that's why we need to practice humility. And that's why we talk about compassionate communication so much, because it's really a lot of listening. That's really what's going on.
Yeah.
And people look to you or will pause in the middle of what they're saying and see what your thoughts are. And you just have to encourage that, or you just have to. There's that.
There you go.
It's best, in my understanding, that you just encourage the continuation of the story. Because then you have you that's part of the unification process. As I don't know why I started calling it that right now, but realizing the oneness of all things is understanding as much as you can. And when we localize that in healing, it's really beautiful to just be there, in a sense, for and with and as the other person.
I think that's what all this is about, right?
Well, that and the cheeseburgers thing I brought up last week.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, I also want to address. I say this as speaking to healing facilitators, but also this can be in any area of our life where we have prior knowledge. Like I see this a lot in the workplace too, where somebody has been there for a while and they have experience, and so they know things, and the temptation to develop self-righteousness and no longer listen to others, and also to I have people that will come up to me and acknowledge, as they say, what I've done here. And from my perspective, I didn't do shit except surrender. You know, I mean, that's the simplicity of it, is I saw the path and then I went into the path. You know, there wasn't any real doing. However, there's that temptation for my ego to feel good with the praise and to see myself as better than or higher than because I've been able to accomplish something that others are excited about. In reality, as I understand it, that things are happening as they are happening, and there is consequence to allowing that temptation of self-righteousness, of boastfulness, to limit our growth and also lead us on a path of self-destruction. And we can see a history of this with a lot of gurus who are worshipped and people bowing at their feet and hanging on to every word. And I see this tipping point where it can be very easy once we develop a following to realize ourself or to think we are realizing ourselves as the Son of God or the chosen one. And
who's making the choice?
I find that is not productive and will lead to self-destruction, and like quickly, and also can be incredibly harmful because we can only see through our own human senses, as you started talking about, right? And if we aren't fully cooked geese,
Geese.
and
It's just
have
geese.
fully entered into the heavenly realms while we are still in the body, then I think we still have a lot to learn, and no one person should be looked to for all of the answers.
Right. There's always room. As things are always changing, there's always going to be more to know.
Yes.
At least in this dimensional existence.
To help myself release that temptation and counter that temptation, I, at a lot of like Reiki sessions and yoga classes, when I have my hands on the people's feet, and we teach this in Reiki training too, to bow to them. And I do this as an act of humility to see them as God, as children of God, and to bow down to the understanding that they have that I have yet to learn. And so that keeps me in this space of not believing myself to be, oh, I'm the healer and you are whatever, like the titles and the hierarchy and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm just as much in the work as the next guy.
I eat just as many cheeseburgers as you do.
Oh, that's true.
You eat far more
Yeah,
cheeseburgers than I do.
I do. Because I have a son that likes cheeseburgers. Do you feel like you have that temptation? Like, do you find yourself
Oh yeah,
at all?
I used to dread it a lot when I was younger. Like that whole idea of like, sometimes when I was in college, I would sit in the back of parties and I would just start talking about spiritual stuff and people would gather around and I was like, oh God, this is getting frightening. Because yes, I had that fear that like, I don't need a following. I don't need a group of people that are listening to every single word I speak as if it's truth, because I'm just thinking out loud. I'm trying to understand myself. So yeah, that used to come up a lot.
Well, I'll say too that with what you're saying, we could also limit ourselves from sharing our understanding because of the fear of developing self-righteousness.
Yeah, that's why you just find a balance. And you do what I do, which is just blurt out random stuff at random moments while people are
If it
sitting
lands, great.
around.
If it doesn't, whatever,
exactly.
man. Yeah. I do. I hear that a lot too, where we limit our voices, and which is another reason why I ask people questions, because I want to learn from you. I understand that you have a sacred perception that I don't see from, and I want to know all the bits of this universe. And so it is a service to humanity to share what we've learned.
Yeah. And to be humble about it.
Yeah, like you said, finding the balance.
Everything is about balance. Mm-hmm. Everything.
And one of my prayers is to be broken down, break me down, because that if I find myself, it's like yes, we have all the understanding and access to all the answers of the universe within us because we are as God. And also we have these human sides that are still learning. So it's honoring the universal knowledge as well as this blessed role that we have to be completely ignorant about the universe. So where am I today? Do I feel connected to all that is, and do I see unity in everything and get to play in the energy of the universe, or am I in this other place where I'm completely ignorant about everything and I'm learning and I'm curious, and I see both of those as really powerful places to be. But then there's also the light and the shadow of that. The tapping into universal energy and using it for poor intentions could create harm, and pretending that we don't know anything or not trusting ourselves to know anything as the human self can also hinder us from creating and understanding ourselves in this world.
Yup.
That's what I think anyways.
That's what you think. That's your
But
perspective.
don't take my word for it. Dun-dun-dun.
Self-righteous. Anyway.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. As, was it Bugs Bunny that would say that?
No, that's not Bugs Bunny.
Who does it?
Is it Elmer Fudd?
Elmer Fudd?
That's all, folks.
Yeah, but he doesn't sound like that.
That was,
all.
I bet if you closed your eyes, you could hear him like he was just here, because that was a spot on impression.
I feel like if you closed your eyes there, you'd be like, what is this terrifying creature that's crawling through my phone right now?
My ears. Come to Tarot Tea Party this Friday.
Yeah, do it.
Nanny.
It'll be a blast.
We will be off next week. I will be off next week.
Yeah, you'll be off next week.
So if you need anything, better call Paul. That's what I've been saying. That'd be a good name for a show. Better call Paul. Anyways, wishing you a blessed week ahead. Namaste.
Keep that cheeseburger challenge going.
Oh my goodness, there's no challenge.